Hi everyone, good morning, welcome. I'm Shalni and I'm here to share stories. How have you been this week? Has it been a good week? Isn't it wonderful that tomorrow we start phase 2? I am so excited. My children have started their plans already. I think they're going to hang out in school or something. They've been waiting to do that, I guess, with their friends and all. The idea that you can go out and sit in a restaurant to enjoy a meal or at the hawker center and not, tapao, bring it back home is quite, I don't know, it's liberating, isn't it? It's these little things that you take for granted. So I think I'm looking forward to just going down to my neighborhood hawker center and sitting there with a cup of coffee and not having to take it home. So that's my little thing. How about you? So today's story is, well, I've got a couple of stories, right? They were supposed to be The Paper Garden. And I'd read this story like 3 weeks ago and I liked it and I thought I'd share it. And I worked on it and I even took it to my classroom, my office when I was cleaning up the place. And I discovered that I left it there. So I was in two minds. Whether should I go back to get it, or should I just, go with something else? Now, at the same time, I was involved. I'd said that I'd share a story with my storytelling group, and the theme was short stories. So I'd chosen a short story, but somehow, and it was last night. Somehow yesterday, although I'd worked on that story, I didn't tell it. It just wouldn't come out. And I told another one instead that I just thought of right there and then almost. A bit rough. But so I guess, these little things tell me and come back and tell me over and over again that sometimes stories may have a life of their own, really. And stories may not want to be told. Maybe a story would decide, nah, not today. I don't think I'm going to, it's not the proper time to be told. I think another time would be good. Another story would be like, yes, me, it's my turn. But at a different venue or a forum. So that's my story behind my story, the change of story. Okay, because I had one story, and today what I'm going to share with you is another story. And it is called, if you look at the graphic, the picture that I shared earlier in the earlier post, before the live video test, I sent just a little message and I had a post, if you caught it. It was a young man, under a tree, sleeping. Lovely, he looked so comfortable. Personally, for me, sleeping under a tree, I'd be worried about ants and things like that. But hey, he looked really comfortable. So my story today is called Waiting by the Tree. And here we go. Once there was a farmer. His name was John. And John was a traditional farmer, let's just say. He worked his land every day. He went in the mornings, and he was a family farmer. I mean, his family of farmers, all right? His grandfather had been a farmer. His father had been a farmer. And so he was a farmer too. He'd grown up going to the farm with his grandparents, with his father, and so that was what he knew. And so every day, very, very punctually, he'd go in, work on his land, till, sow, and then harvest, and come home. He believed in work-life balance. So by 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, he was back home for the day. Now, one thing that John loved to do every day, creature of habit, right, was to take a nap. In the middle of the day, after lunch, around 11:30, 12 o'clock, because, he did start early in the day. So around 11:30, 12 o'clock, he'd like to take a nap. Okay, power nap. It's supposed to be very good for you. And I guess John knew that. and he would take a power nap under a tree that was on the edge of his farm. That was the tree he always rested under. And so that day, as always, he rested under that tree. And he was having a lovely snooze. He was having a lovely time thinking of all the seeds that he had planted, the harvest that would come of those seeds. Maybe he'd sell them, maybe he'd keep some. Would all of them grow, or would some of them not? So this was all going on in his mind, I think, in a dream. And he was almost loud, and he was in sleep, when suddenly, BAM! He woke up with a start. He was like, oh no, what happened? What fell? What was going on? And he looked around in front of him and the side behind. Nothing. He was all right. He looked at himself. And then he looked right next to him was a creature. Dead, unfortunately. It was a rabbit. It would seem that the rabbit perhaps had been running away from something and had gone fight bang into the tree. Ouch. Horrible. For a moment, John was stunned. It had never happened before. And he saw the rabbit. He was like, poor rabbit. And he picked it up. And he looked at it. So, well, since I have it, he decided to take it home. And in the evening, he took it home. And he skinned the rabbit and used the meat to make rabbit stew. He did like his rabbit, actually. He didn't want to kill them, but, this had come to him. So why not? So he made a nice rabbit stew of some of it. Some of it he kept for later, and the meat for later. And he looked at the skin, he cleaned it, washed it. He said, let me see. Tomorrow maybe I'll take it to the market. I might fetch a good price for it. And so he did. So the next morning, he actually broke from routine, and he went down to the market. And he took his lovely cleaned skin, dried out, and he took it out, and he put it there. And soon enough, he had quite a few people bidding for that rabbit skin, because lucky for him, it had been a very beautiful, very white, very fluffy rabbit that had crashed into his tree. So he got quite a lot of money for it. And he was shocked. He was surprised. He was like, wow, my goodness, so much money for rabbit skin? Really? I don't make that much money for a whole bushel of potatoes. And I worked very hard for that bushel of potatoes. So he started thinking, oh, really? If I get that much from one rabbit skin, if there's more rabbit skins out there, if I get more and I sell them, I'll make a lot of money. I can make more rabbits too. Who knows, the extra meat, I could even sell that. So he had a plan, a business plan right there. Get more rabbits. And so, very happily, he went home that day. Didn't go back to the farm. No. He was happy with the money he'd made and kept it there. So the next day, armed with his business plan, he went down to the farm, as usual. But this time, instead of tilling his land, he sat under his tree and tried to sleep. Couldn't quite sleep. Power naps only work really if you're really tired, I think, or you've done some work. And this was early in the morning, and he was quite awake. But he sat there anyway. And he sat there, and he sat there, and he thought, yes, a rabbit's going to come. And when that rabbit comes and knocks itself against this tree, I will have myself a rabbit. And then from that rabbit, I will make this much money. And from the meat, I will get this much. Maybe I shall separate the tail. And maybe I should... So all these ideas were going through his head. But do you think that day any rabbit came crashing into his tree? Nope, sorry, nobody decided to come. And so John said, no, it's okay, it's a glitch, no problem. Happens, maybe tomorrow. And so he went home. happily at 5 o'clock and decided that the next day he would go in again and try again. And he sat nicely the next day under that tree, waiting for another rabbit to crash into his lovely tree. And he waited, and he waited. Now, some of his fellow friends, his fellow farmer friends, they had been passing by and they'd seen him sitting under the tree. And they said, "Hey, John, what are you doing sitting under the tree? Your land, look at that. The crows are there." And John said, yeah, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I'm about to make more money in one trade than I'd make selling a whole bushel of those potatoes, man. And his friends were like, "Right, really? How? Share, come on." And so he shared his business plan with them. And there were two farmers there that were stopped, and they were like, "What?" They looked at each other incredulously. They looked at him and like, "Are you crazy? Ha! You expect another rabbit to go crashing into your tree? I mean, if you really want to search to get rabbits, right, why don't you go out and hunt for them? Go look for them. They must be somewhere." But John was quite shocked at that idea. He said, No. That would be murder. I don't want to go and kill them. I mean, if they come and crash into my tree, I can't do anything about it, right? But no, I'm not going to go and kill those poor innocent creatures. No. Not my style. I'm just going to wait here. And his friends looked at each other like, "All right, John, we'd advise you to take care of that field." John said, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. Thank you for your advice. I'll see you in a while, okay? And then his friends went off. And every day he sat there. Every day he went there. He was a creature of habit, creature of routine. And he sat there, and he sat there, and he waited, and he waited. In the meanwhile, in the meantime, his field, his farm suffered. He did not bother to water his field. He did not look at the weeds. He did not pull them out. He did not shoo away the crows and other birds that came to peck at the seeds. He did not go and look at any of the rats or any other creatures that were coming to dig up the potatoes and other plants that had grown. He let his farm rot. I'm sad to say that no rabbit ever crashed into John's tree again. And by the time he realized this fact, it was too late. All his plants were gone. All his crops had withered and died. The leaves had been eaten up by caterpillars. Crows had come and pecked out all the seeds. Nothing was left. Our dear friend John had, in the hope of a what if, let go of what was. The end. So that was my story for today. The story that wanted to be told today and wanted to be shared today with you. I hope you enjoyed that story. I liked that story a lot. I've known, again, I guess it seems that these are stories that I revisit after a long time. I'm familiar with them. They are like friends. But I get to, sorry, there's some kind of, sorry. Okay. So sorry, I think I had a glitch or something. Sorry about that. You've got to know my restarting and other things, so sorry. My computer was supposed to restart, I guess, at 12 o'clock. So, again, I've revisited this story and I enjoy it a lot, and I hope you enjoyed the story with me. Thank you very much for an opportunity to share this story with you, and I hope to see you again really soon. Take care, everyone. Bye. See you. I'm going to go restart my computer. I'm going to change it now. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. See you, everyone.